Good evening, seventh graders. This week for your homework, we will be doing a review of some of your common grammar parts. Not necessarily all of them will be parts of speech. Exactly. The first thing that you will be doing is a page on nouns. Now, we all know that nouns are a person, place, or a thing. Some examples of people are mother, teacher, Mrs. Brown, sister. Some examples of places are the classroom, park, McDonald's. Some examples of things are a particular animal or just animal. Honesty, patience. Some of those things are concrete, which you can touch, see, smell, hear, taste. Some of them may be abstract, like patience and honesty and friendship. Some of them you can touch, concrete, as we said, like notebook. So on your first page, you have a list of people, places, and things, but you have to categorize them into people, places, and things on the lines provided. Now, when you get to things, there may be more things than lines, so you can go ahead and write them out in the right margin. You can make your own lines, or you can just write them in a list. At the bottom, you are expected to write a sentence using a noun that names an idea that you cannot usually see. Bless you. That you cannot usually see. So the first one says, write a sentence using two nouns that name family members. My example sentence would be, Christine and Mary went to dinner with me at McDonald's. The second one says, write a sentence using a noun that names a living thing that you can see. Amy's dog ran swiftly through the park. That's just an example. But these are the kinds of questions that are on the front of this page. On the back are collective and compound nouns. Now, your collective, the directions say it says each of the following groups of words contains one collective noun. Write each collective noun in the space provided. So you have three words. In number one, you have vegetable, radio, and family. Remember that a collective noun is a group of something. The Navy, a class, a family, and that is exactly what one of the options are in number one, family. So number two says jury, sailboat, or happiness. Maybe you're not sure what one of those words are, which is jury. Jury is the 12 people that go to court to determine whether someone is going to be guilty or not guilty in a case of a crime that has been committed. So you choose your answer for the group on this one. When you get to the compound nouns, what a compound noun is, it's two words that are put together A compound noun is made up of two or more words. So some examples of compound nouns are high school, post office. There's some that are just separate words like high school and post office. And then there are others that are hyphenated like mother-in-law or rock climbing or left-hander. Also, there's some combined words like baseball and typewriter and doghouse. In this section, which is exercise 2, identifying compound nouns, it says each of the following sentences has one or more compound nouns. Underline each compound noun. The example says the scouts hoisted their pennant up the flagpole. Flagpole is what they underlined because it is the compound noun. Number 1, in a desert, both people and animals search for water holes. What are your compound nouns or a compound noun in this one? And the answer for number 1 is water holes. So that's one of the examples of the two separate words. Then exercise 3, finding the correct form of the compound noun. You are expected to use a dictionary to find the correct spelling of each of the following compound nouns. Write the correct form in the space provided. The example here is fire drill. Fire drill has a hyphenation in the example. Then there's fire drill as two separate words. Then there's fire drill as one word together. And the answer is the two separate words, which is fire drill. And you have 5 of those. The next page that you're working on are common and proper nouns. We should know already, or if not, we know that common nouns are basic things, common things. They're not specific. So a common noun might be baseball team. If you turn that into a proper noun, it would be the Astros baseball team. Common noun is boy, girl. Proper noun of that would be Anastasia or Peter, a person's name. So in this exercise 1, for common and proper nouns, it says place a C after each common noun and a P after each proper noun. Then for each common noun, write a corresponding proper noun. For each proper noun, write a corresponding common noun. So number 1 is street. I would say street is a common noun, and it is also, you can write the opposite, which would be a proper noun for street. So I would say Tenth Street. I would write 10th Street. So my example here would be street is a common noun, and I'm supposed to write a proper noun beside it, which would be 10th Street. Number 2 is Chevette. And if you're not sure what some of these things are, because some of the names are older, then you can look them up, or I may go ahead and tell you some right here. Chevette is a type of car. It's a model of a car. So a Chevette is a proper noun. Chevette is proper noun, so I would put a P there beside Chevette, and then I would change it to a common noun and put car beside it. Los Angeles is a city. A general is a military official. Jane Austen is a writer. She's a novelist. Lassie is a dog from a TV show from many years ago. Song, you know what song is. Mayor is the person who's in charge of a city, kind of like a governor is in charge of a state. Hank Aaron is a famous baseball player, and that's on number 9. And river is just what it is, a river. Okay? At the bottom of the same page, writing sentences with different types of nouns. So you're going to write 5 sentences of your own, each using the kind of noun that fits the description given in the following list. So the first one, you're going to write a sentence with a collective noun. The example is a collective noun. A flock of noisy geese flew overhead, making sounds similar to dogs barking. But you don't have to write a sentence that extensive, but you can write a good sentence, the best that you can do. The next one is writing a sentence with a compound noun that is hyphenated. You can look up some examples of these, but I gave you some examples earlier. Mother-in-law, left-hander. The next one, 3 common nouns and 2 proper nouns. Write a sentence using those things. And then number 4, write a compound noun that is 2 separate words. The last compound noun that is a combined word. combined word meaning baseball, two words that are together. Okay? The next page, you are going to be writing pronouns and antecedents. So when it comes to pronouns and antecedents, what my expectation for you is, well, let me explain something. A pronoun takes the place of a noun. When we say a pronoun, we mean he, she, it. It either takes the place of a noun or a group of words acting as a noun. An antecedent is the noun for the group of words acting as a noun for which a pronoun stands. So, for example, here, Martha explained how she won the contest. So who does she represent, or who is she referring to? She is referring to Martha. So you underline the pronoun, which is she, and you circle the noun that it represents, which is Martha. The first one, I will do the first one with you. Ted tried to explain why he didn't phone, why he didn't call. So he is the pronoun, and Ted is the noun that the pronoun represents. So you would go ahead and underline, well, actually the pronouns are already underlined for you. You just circle the noun that it represents. So he is underlined, and Ted represents who he is talking about. Let's look down at exercise 2, identifying personal pronouns. In the space provided, identify the underlined pronoun in each of the following sentences as first person, second person, or third person. First person, as in reading and writing, is I. Second person is you, and third person is he, she, and others. So, and him. So the example here, the teacher asked him a difficult question. Him, and it's third person. We tried to reach the police all morning. We is underlined, and you are going to write down the word we, and then write first person, because we means you were involved. When you think about this section, I want you to think about reading. Think about reading. First person, the narrator is a part of the story, is in the story, is telling the story. In second person, which we don't discuss in 7th grade because you're not tested on that and we don't want to confuse you, but the second person is you. So it's more like a command. So let's see. I don't see any of those options here. So first and third person is what's mostly being used. So let's do number 2. Actually, here's number 2 is one. So number 2, the judge of the contest said that your dance was the best. So your is underlined. You would write your on the line provided, and you would also write that it's second person. Okay. Number 3, in case you're uncomfortable, the jaguar struck the rock and injured its front paw. Its should be written on the line, and beside its, it should be third person. Okay. The next page is demonstrative and interrogative pronouns. And again, you're doing exercise 2. So a demonstrative pronoun is, it points out a specific person, place, or thing. So an example of a singular demonstrative pronoun would be this or that. Plural would be these or those. Then you have interrogative pronouns, which is used to begin a question. What, which, whom, whose. So in your first exercise, it says, each of the following sentences contains a demonstrative pronoun. Write each demonstrative pronoun in the space after each sentence. So number one, this is the computer I hope to get for my birthday. So this is demonstrative, is specific, is pointing to a particular thing. So you would write this on the line. Number two, my uncle plays the bassoon. This is a very difficult instrument to play. It's talking about the bassoon, but the demonstrative pronoun that you're going to underline is this. There is a question in number 9. Isn't that a poster of one of Georgia O'Keeffe's paintings? That would be what you write on the line, because it's referring to the poster of the painting. Look at the second section, which is talking about interrogative pronouns. Each of the following items contains an interrogative pronoun. In the space provided, write each interrogative pronoun. Number 1, to whom did you send the package? You would write down the word whom. Number 2, that is beautiful. Whose is it? The interrogative pronoun in this sentence is whose. On the back, there are indefinite pronouns, and indefinite pronouns are exactly as we say, indefinite. It's not pointing to a specific, it refers to people, places, and things, but it's out without being specific. So it says each of the following sentences contains at least one indefinite pronoun. In the space provided, write each indefinite pronoun. So, few in the class, this is number 1, few in the class knew which nation colonized Angola. So it's not pointing to a specific, but it's indefinite. So the answer is few. You would write few on the line. Number 2, has everyone already had lunch? It is referring to, the answer for number 2 is everyone. I'm not going to give the answer to any of the others, but I want to talk a little bit more about the word indefinite. So if you asked your parents, could you attend the football game this Friday night? And they told you maybe, then that would be an indefinite response. That would be an indefinite response. So you're not sure whether you're going or not. It's not specific. The bottom portion is again writing sentences. Writing sentences with pronouns. Write a short sentence or pair of sentences using a pronoun that fits each of the descriptions given in the following list. Underline the pronoun that you use. So the example is demonstrative pronoun that comes after its antecedent. The example here says, I picked out some library books. These seemed the most interesting to me. So you're writing a short sentence or a pair. This happens to be a pair of sentences. So you underline the pronoun that it's asking for. And the reason why it shows you a second sentence because the pronoun needs to come after the noun that it represents, or wherever it says it needs to be. Like, for example, number 1, demonstrative pronoun at the beginning of a sentence. So it needs to be a demonstrative pronoun, but it needs to be at the beginning of a sentence. For example, these shoes are the ones that I wanted all year. And these, it's at the beginning of the sentence and it's demonstrative and it is representing the shoes that you were referring to in the sentence. Okay? This is all of your homework for this week. This is due on Friday, September 29th. Thank you.